Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Lydia Sobie here from Sobeys in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Lydia, thanks for jumping on with me.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. If you don't mind, I'd love to ask you 6 questions about Sobeys, your restaurant. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. So, love to hear your story. When people ask you what Sobeys does, how do you describe your business? And feel free to share.
Sure. Well, our vision for Sobeys was a place where people can come to get healthy and delicious food that makes people happy. We definitely see a correlation between good eating and happiness and feeling good. We wanted to offer them a variety of interesting and creative choices, keep our menus seasonal, all in an environment that's comfortable and unpretentious, and offers a place for our members of our community to gather and socialize.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, before I press record, you told me a lot about your business plan and how it developed. What were your plans when you started your business, and maybe when you started your business plan, and how has that changed?
Yeah. So we are Southwestern Michigan transplants. We're not from Wisconsin originally. And we knew early on in our relationship, my husband Mike and I co-own Sobeys and another restaurant in Watertown recently. Surprise, surprise.
Congratulations.
And thank you. Um, and we talked early in our partnership about what our place would look like. And someday when we do this, and we thought it would be in Michigan because that's where we're from and where our families are. And as the economy changed and as our opportunities changed, and we saw some opportunities available to us in Wisconsin, we moved over here and couldn't be happier with just the community we live in here in Oconomowoc and how we've been embraced. And so the location, I would say, is the biggest thing that's changed. But I think that the mission and vision for Sobeys has always stayed the same. Certainly, we've been trying to keep track of market trends and look at what do people want and what is needed in the community. And one of the things we noticed living in Oconomowoc was there were a lot of bars that served food, but
Mhm.
not a lot of restaurants that served alcohol. And we see a distinct difference between the two. So
Yeah.
we definitely wanted to be more of an upscale, but not fine dining. So I mean, we place ourselves firmly in that casual fine dining place, but I think that our fare, our food is more along, it's more aligned with fine dining.
Very nice. And you're going to be celebrating 5 years this year, if I understand. Is
Yeah,
that
March 9th. Yep. Next week, Thursday is our fifth birthday. So
wonderful? Well,
celebrations there.
congratulations on that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Especially when you start, just a few years before the pandemic, and it really shows what Sobeys is and how much people love it. So wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah.
What is one of the biggest ways that you impact the community? I know Oconomowoc is a very, very special community where they really embrace.
Yeah. Like I said before, I think that we met a need. I think there was a need for different types of dining opportunities in Oconomowoc at the time that we opened. And since then, we've seen other restaurants pop up that have just made Oconomowoc more of a dining destination. We welcome that. Like the more that Oconomowoc has to offer, the more people are going to come here. And we've certainly seen growth over time. I would say one of the biggest ways we impact our community, and maybe this is small, but it's big to us, is through our employment of it stuns us constantly how many people we employ and how many people make their livelihood and are paying their bills and paying their rent by working for us. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that. So we are happy to be like good employers in the community. We're um, always happy to connect with other small local businesses and promote their products through our farm to table initiatives. So we work with other small farms, growers, producers, small businesses to try to help sustain that local economy.
That's absolutely beautiful. I love that you said a privilege to be an employer. So I really
Yes,
feel like you have it at the right mindset on that because you do want to take care of those employees. So that's beautiful.
absolutely.
That
If we take care of them, they definitely take care of us. That's not lost on us. How when you value the people who work for you, they work hard for you and they want to be there. And that makes a huge difference in the entire dynamic of the place.
Absolutely. That is really great that business owners can hear that and learn from you. What is another challenge that you've faced that business owners could learn from?
Um, I think that I will leave the pandemic out of it because every business faced that challenge. And I mean, that just it had us recommit to our staff during that time. So that just reinforced how we feel about those who work for us and what we can do to support them during hard times. I think one challenge is really just empowering your team to lead
Mm,
and to take ownership. I mean, there needs to be a hierarchy and there needs to be policies and procedures in place, but if I could offer advice to business owners, it's the more you empower your staff to take ownership of their work for you and their part in it, and to recognize how important every role is. Um, there's investment and there's buy-in and there's, people take care of the place and it's important to them. And that also affects everything that happens there. So just
absolutely.
getting people to know their worth.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. What does the future look like to you? You just kind of threw out a whole nother restaurant there.
Yeah, I know.
Guys, what does the
um,
future look like to Sobeys and your
yeah,
future? Do you have
yeah.
an explain?
So it's not another Sobeys. We have a server at Sobeys who worked at another restaurant in Watertown, and informed us about 3 years ago that it was for sale, and that would have been March of 2020. And we said, well, my husband was all about it. He said, let's do it. I said, you're crazy. It's March of 2020. We're not buying another restaurant. There's, on the verge of a global pandemic. Who knows what's going to happen? So we waited a year and she brought it up again and he brought it up again. And I said, no, I don't want to jeopardize what we're doing. I don't want to overcommit. I had a lot of reservations, no pun intended, about opening another place. And then things happened and situations changed and it started to look like a more what's the word I'm looking for, agreeable opportunity, I guess. Like some of the barricades or barriers that I had in mind were breaking down a bit. So we went to look at it and fell in love with this building. It's a 1933 building, this English Tudor style, that's been an inn or tavern since 1935. You can count the number of owners on one hand since 1935, and the people who were there, who we assumed ownership from, had been operating it since 1987. So they were ready to retire and pretty tired and just ready to move on with their lives, because it's a relentless business. There is no stopping, there is no break, there's very few opportunities for vacations. You're every night, every weekend, every holiday, unless you choose to close. So we met with them, we walked through the building, we looked at what they were doing and how they were doing it. We heard from the community in Watertown how important that establishment was to the community, and we felt like we could do it justice. We could at least continue that legacy and do it justice. So we had the opportunity to purchase the real estate and purchase the business, and we opened May of 22. And so we're about 9 months into that second endeavor. And like our first year at Sobeys, we're learning so much. And there are highs and lows and ups and downs and the challenges of a new business. The difference here is we started Sobeys from the ground up. Like the idea, every piece of the puzzle was a conversation between my husband and I, and everything we do is very, very intentional. So if we have a policy, there's a reason for it. If we have, an expectation, here's why. And to walk into somebody else's business and try to figure out their whys has been, I think, probably the greatest challenge for me. It's like, okay, why are they doing it that way?
Yeah.
Is that the best way? Is there a better way? And we adopted a great staff of people out there. So that was one fortunate aspect in this day and age of hiring shortages, staffing shortages, is that they were willing to stay. So we have some seasoned professional servers out there and a couple of cooks that we kept, and um, so there's always that back and forth between, well, the way we used to do it, and, well, is that the way we should do it? So those are growing pains of any new business, and we're just trying to remain patient and make appropriate changes, and also, keep in mind the communities are different between Oconomowoc and Watertown, and how do we meet the needs of each of those communities and still stay true to ourselves. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that. My second part of
yeah.
that question is, do you have an exit plan? So are you in this for a while or what are you thinking?
I think my husband, who again is a bit older than me, I like to rub that in. I think he very much enjoys being a teaching chef. So he loves to teach skills to other people. And one of the things I'm proudest of at Sobeys is we have staff who've been with us since they were 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, and now they're 20, 21 years old. And they have really grown in their skill set. They might have started off as a host or a dishwasher, and now they're done with culinary school and they're running the line, and or they started as a busser and now they're a bartender and they're working the Friday nights. So I love training people up and giving, helping them learn new skills and learn things, maybe find new employment opportunities they didn't know they had. So that's been really cool. So I think our exit strategy is not so much to leave, but it's to empower and put people in those roles so that we can take a step back and watch them do and continue what we put in place. So yeah, I don't see myself walking away from Sobeys anytime. It's too much. Like I joke with people that I have my son who's 18 and he's my first child, and Sobeys would be my second child. And I kind of joke that the run in Watertown's the oops.
Oh, that
So,
is
and
funny.
that's not a very nice thing to say, but it
Not at
definitely
all.
wasn't, it wasn't a part of the plan. But then sometimes life throws you curveballs and you say, well, I guess we ought to do that.
Yep.
So
And those oops
unexpected,
are so great, right?
yeah,
Sometimes.
unexpected but not unwelcome. So we're just sorting through the the juggling act. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, thank you for that. My final question for you is, all subjects open. What inspires you most?
Um I think what inspires me most still is when I walk through the dining room and I'm watching people eating. I'm looking at them, they're enjoying themselves, they're laughing. I love taking clean plates off the tables, where they have eaten every bite of that food, and just asking how was everything. And so seeing people being satisfied with what we're doing, they're happy with their food, they're happy with their service, they're coming to Sobeys and enjoying a great night out. That inspires me to keep doing this, and it fills my cup all the time. So people say, how do you do, two jobs, a day job, and then that, how do you keep up with it? And for me, Sobeys is it's a hobby, but it's a job, but it's also a passion. And I think, if you're doing something that fills you with joy like that, not that there aren't hard moments, but just seeing people being satisfied and being comforted. I don't know if that's the right word. They just, seeing people happy there makes me happy. So,
Totally. Very inspiring. So if somebody wants to go enjoy Sobeys, what is the best
mhm.
way for them to do that? Tell us a little bit more.
Well, they could enjoy Sobeys for lunch on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, brunch on Saturday or Sunday, and then dinner 6 nights a week except for Tuesdays. Tuesdays are karate night for my son, so we're closed then.
Awesome.
um, yeah, since he was 13, so we said, well, that night is
Yeah.
sacred, so we won't. And that's worked out pretty well because a lot of other places in Oconomowoc are closed on Monday, so we're the place to be. Yeah, that was an unintentional consequence of that decision, but it's worked out. I do recommend a reservation on a Friday or Saturday night,
Okay.
and sometimes on a Sunday brunch, particularly on holidays like Mother's Day, Easter. We do tend to fill up pretty quickly for those. You can make a reservation online at sobeysrestaurant.com. That's our website. Um, Yeah, or you can visit our Facebook page.
Awesome,
So
and social media.
yeah,
Perfect. Well, thank you
yep.
so much for taking the time to share Sobeys with us and your story. And tell Mike hello as well, and congratulations
Hello,
on
Mike.
on that
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Sobe.
you. Thank you, Stacie. I appreciate the opportunity.